UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi, Cory Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov just ended, and this is going to be my full card post-fight. I'm going to go through every fight on the card, give my reaction to the result, starting off with the very first fight of the night, the best fight on the card, Sedriques Dumas versus Denis Tiuliulin. Holy shit, was this a bar? No, this was probably the worst fight on the card. Overall, by the way, UFC Abu Dhabi was an incredible card, I thought. It delivered. It was a really solid card. Dumas gets the unanimous decision win. Tiuliulin drops to 11-10. Tiuliulin is 11-10 overall. But yeah, Dumas just basically out-grappled him, out-struck him. I think first two rounds, Dumas controlled him like half the round. Third round, Tiuliulin had some moments, you know, and was able to get a little bit of control time, but didn't do much with it. And then Dumas got back up and started doing some damage on the feet. Honestly, low-level fight. Low-level fight. Neither guy looked particularly good. Dumas gets it done via unanimous decision. Tiuliulin now he's one fight away from losing as many fights as he's won. And this is the UFC nowadays. And we're cutting guys like Mackenzie. We're cutting guys like Mackenzie, 23 years old, undefeated. Undefeated, number one contender, top 10 ranked wins. Active. And we got Denis Tiuliulin in here with 11-10. 11-10 record. What a sham the UFC's becoming. But Dumas gets it done via decision. Next fight on the card, Herbert, Rolando Bedoya. Herbert wins via unanimous decision. Dropped Bedoya in the first round with, I think it was a right hand. And just was crisper, cleaner on the feet. Second round, same thing. Third round, same thing. But then Herbert got, I believe, 2 takedowns in the third round, but didn't really do much with it. Didn't really do any damage, and Bedoya was able to scramble back up. Bedoya, I think a lot of people got a little bit too high on him when he came in and had that split decision against Chaos Williams, even though he lost. People got a little bit high of him. He has this brawling style. He plots forward. He throws good leg kicks. I mean, the second and third rounds were competitive. I scored every single round for Herbert. First round was probably his best round. I mean, he did drop him with a right hand or stumble him. I think he dropped him to a knee. But Bedoya just didn't have much to offer. I mean, Herbert was just crisper and cleaner on the feet. And I think Bedoya is one of those guys who came into the UFC, has a close fight with a known commodity in Chaos Williams, and then all of a sudden people are kind of hyping him up a bit. So Herbert gets it done. He beats up Rolando Bedoya. At least neither one of them have double-digit losses, and Herbert gets it done via unanimous decision. Next fight on the card, we have Sam Hughes versus Viktoria Dudakova. Sam Hughes wins via split decision. I had Sam Hughes winning. I thought she won this fight. Look, it was close. Dudakova won the first round, took her down, did a little bit of damage, you know, was having flurries, was landing some decent counters and some clinch knees. Second round came out and shit the bed. Looked exhausted. Got a takedown, did nothing with it. Late in the round, like scrambling for a leg lock off a takedown where she got stuffed and was getting outstruck in the second round. Thought she lost the second round. Third round is up for debate. I scored it for Hughes because I thought she did a little bit more. But basically, each of them had control time for half the round, and neither one of them did dog shit. I mean, it was shit. So I thought there was a case to be made where Dudakova could have took 1 and 3. I wouldn't say that at all. But yeah, Sam Hughes gets it done. I don't know if anyone truly cares about this fight. If you're watching, look, I'm in the middle of this breakdown. There's timestamps for it. If you're watching this part of the breakdown, comment, let's see, just comment SpongeBob down in the comments. So we know you picked up on this little Easter egg in the middle of Viktoria Dudakova versus Sam Hughes. But yeah, Sam Hughes looking like the elite of the elite, looking like a future champ, looking like she trains with Juliana Miller in her striking, and she gets it done over Viktoria Dudakova in a super low-level fight. Next fight on the card, Guram Kutateladze versus Jordan Vucenic. Great fight. Vucenic looked like he was going to win this fight early. Watching that first round, I'm like, oh, Vucenic's got this. He was landing good shots. He was looking clean on the feet. Hurt him badly in the first round. I think it was with a right hand. And then started looking to follow up with good hammer fist, ground and pound. Guram survives, barely hangs on. And then he kind of ends out the round like last minute or so in Guram's guard. And then I thought he's going to come out in second round and do more of it, but he started to slow down in the second round. Guram starts landing in the dirty boxing. Guram starts landing some good elbows, some knees in the clinch. Cut open Jordan Vucenic in the second round. Landing body kicks. Got a late takedown and landed a couple elbows at the end of round 2. And you could tell Vucenic was starting to fade. Now, Vucenic goes back to his corner, and they're like, yeah, you're up 2-0. And then Vucenic comes out in the third round, tries to grapple. Ends up like almost looking to take the back of Guram. It was a crazy sequence. Vucenic looks to take the back of Guram. Guram shakes him off, lands a couple ground and pound shots, then looks to take the back of Vucenic. They're both the top of their heads are facing the cage. They're up close to the cage. And Vucenic's trying to shake Guram off the top. Guram puts his feet while he's hanging on the back because there's no hooks in. Puts his feet against the fence, pushes off of it, drags Vucenic back, takes his back, holds him there for the next 2 minutes, and lands some good shots. And I thought Guram Kutateladze, super gritty performance, wins round 2 and 3. Vucenic looked promising. I believe he took this fight on short notice. He looked very promising, but it's just Guram was there to win. He showed up to win, and he was super gritty, and he was hard to get out of there. He survived the first round, and then Vucenic is just starting to fade a little bit. I think the cardio was a little bit of an issue, and I think also, oh, you're up 2 rounds, and it's like almost like he was willing to give away round 3. And he gave away round 3, and I thought he was going to be pissed when the decision was read because he looked like he for sure won his UFC debut. But Guram gets it done. He gets the decision. Was a crazy sequence in the 3rd round. If you didn't see it, go back and check it out. I've never seen that before. Absolutely crazy the way that Guram took that, and that's really sealed him the round, because up until that point, there wasn't a whole lot of damage done. But yeah, Guram just ekes out kind of a real gritty performance, wins in the dirty boxing in the 2nd round, and then wins in the grappling in the 3rd round. Next fight on the card. We have Shamil Gaziev versus Dontale. Look, Gaziev wins via unanimous decision, won every single round. Mays landed like 2 shots early. Gaziev lands some big shots, immediately double legs him, takes him down, starts landing some ground and pound, almost gets an arm triangle at the end of the 1st round. I say almost, but it really wasn't even in a good position. Gaziev 2nd round, same thing. Lands some big shots, gets to the clinch, starts landing dirty boxing, almost gets a takedown. Mays starts grabbing the shorts. Where like kind of talked his way out of getting a point. I got to go back and watch that exchange. But I don't think it didn't matter anyway. I didn't think Gaziev was going to get that takedown. He was kind of charging forward, and Mays is kind of the one to just fall over. But, basically Gaziev just beat him up in the clinch the whole 2nd round. Then the 3rd round, ran through him, just basically ran at him, and Mays just fell on the ground, melted. And then Gaziev just beat him up. So I had all 3 rounds Shamil Gaziev. Shamil is back, boys. Shamil is back, and I can't wait to see some Dagestani privilege served up to Shamil Gaziev. I mean, the fact that there's a dude in the UFC heavyweight division getting wins that has the same body type as me, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more tickled pink. I mean, true physical specimen, Shamil Gaziev is. He gets it done over Dontale. The only thing I'm a little bit disappointed in, I wanted to see Gaziev put him in the north-south and start doing that pelvic thrust like Dontale did many years ago. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that. But Gaziev just beat him up on the feet, beat him up on the ground, and Dontale is straight up garbage. No stamina, no takedown defense, no striking. He's just big for nothing. I'm not even sure he trains. He just shows up for a paycheck. So Gaziev gets it done, unanimous decision. Next fight on the card, we have Kaue Fernandes versus Mohammad Yahya. I messed up with this pick. I picked Fernandes' decision. I should have picked him to finish him, man. Yahya's so slow. He's so slow. He got his legs chewed up. He got dropped badly. And then he got finished off with ground and pound. I mean, it was nasty. Kaue Fernandes limited his mobility, just was chopping the legs. And Yahya had nothing to offer. Looked slow, looked out of sorts, looked like he was questioning even being in there. Then got dropped bad. I can't even remember what he got dropped with exactly. I think maybe it was a right hand. Or maybe he just threw like a flurry. I think multiple shots landed that really put him down. And then just swarmed him. Just absolutely swarmed him, beat the piss out of him. And gets the late 1st round TK. It was the last 15 seconds of the 1st round. Kaue Fernandes looked impressive, but it's Mohammad Yahya. Who did he just lose to? Was it Trevor Peek, I believe? Let me take a look. Yeah, he's coming off a loss to Trevor Peek. We know Trevor Peek's basically garbage, but we all love watching him fight because he fights with that trailer park spirit. But Kaue Fernandes absolutely decimated Mohammad Yahya. Looks slow, looks stiff on the feet. Couldn't check a leg kick to save his life. Couldn't block a shot to save his life. And got absolutely decimated. And Kaue Fernandes gets the win. Next fight on the card. Azamat Murzakanov versus Alonzo Menifield. Azamat Murzakanov beat him up bad. Was destroying him on the feet. Landing step-in knees, uppercuts, ripping to the body with punches and kicks. Some clinch work too. Beating him up in the clinch. Menifield was able to get a little bit of control time in the clinch. But 1st round, Menifield took a lot of damage. He's just swinging with big overhands, looking to connect. And occasionally he would land, but it was nothing like super significant. He never really got a reaction out of Murzakanov. 2nd round, it looked like Menifield was starting to have a little bit of a comeback. Nothing crazy, but you could see Azamat like throwing everything but the kitchen sink. And it was like, okay, Menifield keeps coming forward, keeps coming forward, keeps coming forward. And Murzakanov was still landing good body shots, ripping to the body nonstop, abusing the body, literally abusing the body. There was a couple fights like that tonight. And eventually it started looking like, okay, Menifield's still there. Murzakanov starting to slow down. Maybe maybe, just maybe, we're getting towards the second half of round 2. Maybe this is where Menifield can mount his comeback. And Murzakanov just clips him with a shot. Crazy flurry, like rights, left, right, left. Put him down, flat down, head snap back on the ground. Mouthpiece started falling out. Followed up with like a couple shots, completely flatlined him. Referee grabbed on his hips. Like the referee was kind of slow to get there and like grabbed on Murzakanov's hips and said, back shot's dead. And then finally Murzakanov was pulled off of him. But yeah, Murzakanov looked super impressive. Didn't use any real grappling in this fight. And absolutely decimated Alonzo Menifield. I mean, it was brutal. It was brutal. Beat up his body, landed a lot of good damaging shots to the head, and eventually found the KO in the second round. Next fight on the card, we have Yoel Alvarez versus Elves Brener. This fight actually pisses me off. This opened up the main card. This was one of the few fights I got wrong on this card. This is one of the few fights that I got wrong. I think I got 3 wrong. I think there was 13 fights. I got 3 fights wrong. This was one of them. I picked Brener. I went back and forth. I just thought Brener was a savage. I thought he was a dog. And I thought Alvarez, when the going gets tough, he's going to quit. He's going to get finished. Yoel Alvarez went out there and finished him in the third round with brutal knees in the clinch. And Brener fought like shit. First round, Alvarez is walking him down, tagging him with right hands right up against the fence. You know, sniping him with big shots. And this was the whole fight. Landing knees. Hurt him late in the round. Brener, I think, I can't remember if he got hurt or he got hurt and then shot in on a takedown or shot in on a takedown. It ended the round with Alvarez looking for a Darce choke or an anaconda choke. I can't remember. And then, saved by the bell, I think Alvarez would have locked it up. Second round, it looked like Brener was scared to fight. When he moved forward, he would land like a leaping left hook. But outside of that, it was like he was scared to close the distance. And I know Alvarez was popping him with some good shots, but Alvarez was walking him down from start to finish. Where is that Brener that we saw fight Guram? Where's that Brener that we saw in the past? It was like he wasn't moving forward. He was terrified to fight against Alvarez, got beat up, got walked down. Alvarez would walk him down, cut him off. Brener would end up with his back against the fence, and then Alvarez would snipe him with a right hand every single time without fail. And all Brener had was a leaping left hook, and he threw it on varying occasions. Like he barely even threw it. And then in the third round, there was a left hand that hurt Brener, and then Brener like clinched up. And he ends up in a position where he probably should have dropped to a knee or put his hands down. He doesn't. He just sits there, shells up because he doesn't want to fight at all. Yoel Alvarez just starts smashing with knees. Eventually he goes down, and then Yoel Alvarez lands some ground and pound and finishes him off. Alvarez is back. He says he wants top 15 guy, I think. No, he called out Bob Green, a.k.a. Bob Hill, we call him nowadays. Horrible call out. I mean, he just got destroyed by Patty. Why don't you call out Patty Pimlet? Call out Jalen Turner. Call out, Moicano, call out Dan Hooker, BSD, somebody. I know Moicano and BSD are fighting each other. But to call out Bob Green after he just got destroyed in the first round, choked out, bad call out. I just had a hiccup there. Bad call out in my opinion, but not the worst call out on the card. That's reserved for the co-main event, but we'll get that in a second. But yeah, Yoel Alvarez made Elves Brener look like he didn't even belong in there at all. Absolutely destroyed him every single round, every facet of the fight too. So Yoel Alvarez gets it done. And I can't wait to see who he fights next. I was high on him when he went into the Arman fight. I actually picked him over Arman, and Arman just wrecked him bad. So we'll see who he fights next. I want to see a top 15 fight for Yoel Alvarez. Next fight on the card, Mackenzie Dern versus Lupita Godinez. Look, Mackenzie Dern wins. She wins unanimous decision. I think the judges were staring at her asshole the entire fight. I don't think this was a brutal robbery, but I think she lost, man. She won the first round for sure. Was competitive on the feet, back and forth. I thought Loopy was maybe getting a little bit better on the feet. But then there was a hip toss from Dern, full mount, looked for the armbar. And here's what stole the round. While she's looking for the armbar and Loopy's trying to defend, she starts smashing her with hammer fist from bottom and busted up her nose. Second round, Loopy was landing better shots. I mean, Dern was landing a couple good right hands, but swinging and missing at air. Striking didn't look good. Loopy had like 2 takedowns, but didn't really solidify the position. Just took her down left of there. And then late in the round, had a standing arm triangle. So I thought clearly Loopy won round 2. And then round 3 was close. You had Loopy pressuring her, landing good shots. Dern had a takedown, but couldn't get control time. And Loopy scrambled back up. And I thought Loopy clearly landed the better shot. So I had 2 and 3 for Loopy. I don't think that Dern won that fight. And they, the commentary team was like, yeah, her striking looks so good. Like, what? She's flailing at air while Loopy's just kind of pop-shotting her. So, I mean, I didn't think it was like the most brutal robbery I've ever seen in my entire life, but I thought that Godinez landed the better shots in round 2 and 3. But I guess, the simps, the commentary team, the judges, just staring right at that ass. They're just staring at that ass, and they're like, oh, yeah, I guess I'm giving her this round. I don't know. What do you give her? I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. That's what it seemed like to me. So Mackenzie Dern gets it done. I don't think it's the worst decision ever, but I thought she lost 2 and 3, and she'll definitely never be like a champion unless somehow she gets gifted a title shot and pulls off a Hail Mary submission. She tried to pull guard, I think, once in this fight. Wasn't able to do that. And basically, she's just really aggressive, and she had a size advantage over Lupita Godinez as well. But overall, she gets it done. It was a unanimous. Yeah, it was a unanimous decision win. She gets it done. Next fight on the card. Oh, no. Michael Chiesa versus Tony Ferguson. Guys, I can't watch this shit anymore. Like, how many times are they going to trot out Tony Ferguson's dead body? He gets finished in the first round, which I'm actually happy. He didn't take that much damage. He got choked out, and he lost. I didn't want him to win. I know a lot of people are like, why didn't you want Tony to win? Because then he's going to think he still has it. Michael Chiesa did his typical game plan. He circled, landed a couple right hands on Tony. Tony didn't land jack shit. Eventually looks for a takedown, takes him down, immediately secures a rear naked choke within 30 seconds. Chokes him out. 3 minutes and 44 seconds into the first round. But that's not the worst part about this fight. The worst part is the post-fight speech. First off, Michael Chiesa. Shout out to Michael Chiesa. Because Michael Chiesa said, look, I have a lot to say, but I want to give the microphone to Tony. And I said on my live fight watch along, I said, watch Tony pull a Clay Guida. If you don't know, Clay Guida faked a retirement years ago. Tony's got his gloves off. Then Tony's getting ready to talk, and his corner comes over and hands him one glove. And I'm like, why do you hand him one glove? Hand him both gloves. It's not going to look right if he only puts down one glove. Where's the second glove? What are you doing here? Then the crowd's chanting, Tony, Tony, Tony. And I'm like, yes, yes. Let's throw some dirt on this dead body. Let's bury him. Let's let him have a retirement. He's getting his moment. He's sitting there in silence. He's taking it all in. I'm like, Tony, for the love of God, Tony, don't fuck this up, Tony. Don't fuck it up, Tony. And then Tony gets on the mic. This one hurt bad, boys. Tony's like, I don't want to retire. I don't want to retire, but I don't want to fight in anywhere else but the UFC. So I'm going to put one glove down, and we're going to see what happens. And I'm like, no, please, Tony, no. Why are you doing this? Look, at this point, and this comes from someone's heart, Tony Ferguson was one of my favorite fighters of all time. Okay? Is one of my favorite fighters of all time. I was a huge fan of Tony. I want him to lose every fight from here on out first round. First round finish. Someone needs to tell him, it's time, Tony. It's time. He didn't even look in good shape, and then every fight he comes in, he's like, oh, yeah, I'm training with Goggins. I'm sparring 150 rounds. Well, it doesn't look like it. You could have fooled me. You look 50 years old. You look slow. Michael Chiesa's a dead body, and you got brutalized by him. Think about this. Michael Chiesa is washed up, and he bodied Tony. I mean, I'm dead serious at this point. You take any random dude off the street, handpick him, it can be random as hell. I like their chances. They're negative 300 odds against Tony Ferguson. Any random dude off the street. I don't care if he's 5'2", 120 pounds. Tony's done, man. Tony's done. And it's just sick to see that he's still sticking around. He loses via rear naked choke. I'm happy he didn't take a whole lot of brain damage because that brain can't handle any more damage, in my opinion. And hopefully the one glove becomes two gloves because I don't think the UFC is going to have him any more fights. If they offer him a Nick Diaz fight, I'm still going to be pissed. Because Nick Diaz shouldn't be in here either. He doesn't want to fight. He just shows up for paychecks. I don't want to see it anymore. Please, for the love of God, get rid of Tony Ferguson. I can't watch this shit anymore. Next fight on the card. Featured fight on the main card. We have Davison Figueiredo versus Marlon Chito Vera. First round. I think I had it 30-27. But the second round could have went either way. I thought the second round could have went either way. Just so you know my scoring. We got a unanimous decision win. Look, Figgy looked incredible in this fight. Marlon, slow starter, started to come on strong a little bit towards the end. But Figgy in the first round landing good leg kicks. They were both kind of, trading leg kicks, but Figgy was getting the better of it. Got an easy takedown, had some control, had some damage. Eventually ends up kind of posturing up and then standing up, and Vera hits him with an up kick and then is able to get up. Figgy's landing, switching stances. Vera landed a flying knee and ended up getting taken down. Then at the end of the round, Figgy landed like a face stomp. I think it might have been aimed for the chest, but kind of stomped on his face. First round, clear as day for Figgy, no doubt about it. Second round, Figgy starts to slow down, isn't able to get takedowns. He gets stuffed multiple times. They were kind of like half-hearted takedown attempts, but they were both landing on the feet. He committed to like one takedown that he got actually stuffed on heavily. And then late, Vera had like kind of a rally like the last minute. I thought maybe stole it, but I thought it was 50-50. I really still have, I would have to go back and rewatch it to really score that round. But let's say you give it to Vera, it didn't matter because the third round, there was an early takedown from Figgy, got some elbows in. But then once they, no, hold on a second. I think it was an early takedown from Figgy, and while he's in on the takedown, Vera started landing some elbows, is what I'm remembering now. And then they go back to the center, and then Figgy's just ripping to the body, landing some good shots. And then midway through the third round, a right hand drops Marlon Vera to like a knee. I don't know if he ended up on his actual butt, but dropped him, attacked him for like 20 seconds, landed some decent follow-up shots. And then basically Vera, the rest of the round, was trying to press the action, feinting, trying to land some good shots, landing some leg kicks. And then Figgy kind of won the last like 30 seconds or so. Kind of was like brawling and taunting Vera and landing good shots. And was mixing in a few takedowns, but was getting stuffed. And it was clear 1-3 for Devison Figueiredo. Incredible win. Ripping to the body quite a bit. Landing good leg kicks. And Vera just too much of a slow starter, man. He didn't throw nothing in the first round. And his takedown defense is shit. And I know second and third he stuffed takedowns. But, he's got to get going way sooner than this. He really didn't look in it until the tail end of the second round. So even if you give him the second round because Figgy looked a little bit slower in that round, third round, still didn't do much. Started to come on a little bit in that round. But yeah, Figgy got it done. Figgy looks good at bantamweight. Looks like he has no respect for his opponent striking. I swear. He was even like walking forward with his hands down a bit in this fight. I'm like, Vera has some power at bantamweight, so you better be careful. But overall, I think it was a great performance from Figgy. I think he's in a good spot in the bantamweight division. I wouldn't mind seeing him against Petr Yan in this next fight. Off the top of my head, I think that'd be a great fight. There's a lot of great fights right now for Figgy. You could book him versus, Henry Cejudo. I know they trained together for a bit. You could book him against Petr Yan. You could book him against Cory Sandhagen. I think there's a litany of fights for Devison Figueiredo. Right now he's number 6, so if it's up to me, I'm booking him against Petr Yan. I think that's a banger fight, banger matchup. And, Figgy beats Marlon Vera. Marlon Vera, we got to accept he's not that good. He's just not that good. He never deserved that title shot. He squeaked by Pedro Munoz. Of course, Figgy was going to beat him. And he didn't just beat him with the grappling, which is what I thought. He beat him with the striking as well and looked good doing it and was ripping to the body. He would paw out with the lead hand like a jab almost, but Paul just put it in Vera's eyes and then boom, nasty rip to the body. He did it multiple times throughout this fight. Looked incredible and gets the unanimous decision win. Next fight on the card, we have Nurmagomedov versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Nurmagomedov bodied Oleksiejczuk all 3 rounds and went to decision. But Mikhail Oleksiejczuk didn't want to mix in the grappling at all. When he did mix it in, he had a little bit of success. But first round, there was like an off-balance drop. Oleksiejczuk pressing, lands like a right hand while he caught a kick. But then after that, Sher is just brutalizing the body, step-in knee, side kicks to the body. And he's pinpointing the same spot, the right side of Oleksiejczuk's ribs, just touching him up. Second round, same thing, chewing out with kicks as he's moving forward, landing nasty knees in the clinch. Mikhail had a late takedown, but didn't do much with it. Sher did grab the fence once, but I don't think it actually mattered, like in the grand scheme of things. But either way, it was super annoying. I hate when guys grab the fence. And there was I think it was a sniping right hand that rocked Oleksiejczuk just a little bit. Stung him. Like he wasn't almost finished, but kind of stung him a bit in the second round. And then in the third round, Sher was just brutalizing him, landing to the body. And you would see Oleksiejczuk just drop his arms down to protect the body. And then Sher would go upstairs with a kick. Landed a head kick in the third round, was chopping the legs. Oleksiejczuk did get a takedown, but Sher then scrambled right back up, never even got control time. And then the last minute actually does get a takedown, a little bit of control time. And Sher just starts throwing nasty elbows from the bottom. I think it was in the first round, actually. Oleksiejczuk got cut up. And then in the third round, off the elbows, really started to bleed profusely from those elbows. And Nurmagomedov just destroyed Oleksiejczuk. Oleksiejczuk had nothing to offer for him. He pressured forward. If he would have just grappled, maybe he could have won, but I knew he wasn't going to grapple. He's going to charge forward, be aggressive, look for big shots. And he had some moments where he would land big shots. But Sher's kicking game is incredible. And he abused that body badly. Pause. side kick, and it was the same. It was like he was pinpoint accuracy to the same spot. He was even throwing hands to it as well, straight rights and jabs to that same exact spot on Olszejczyk's body. I'll say this: Olszejczyk's tough as hell, absolutely tough as hell. There's lesser dudes who would have got finished by those body shots, and you'd have been like, back shots dead. But anyway, Magomedov gets it done. The one-eyed pirate. I don't know who they're going to match him up with next, but an interesting middleweight prospect. But he's got to work on his grappling. He's from Dagestan. Got to work on that wrestling. Better start training with Team Habib. But he seems like a guy that's kind of a cast out because he's a little bit of a lunatic. Definitely a little bit of a lunatic. So Magomedov gets it done in the co-main event. Next fight on the card, we have Cory Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov. I did an entire full breakdown on my channel already. I encourage you to go check it out. And I said this, and I already saw some comments. I took a little bit, I took about 30 minutes between the videos. Usually I record them back to back, but I said, let me take a little bit of time. Let me get out of this chair for a little bit. And I said, Umar Nurmagomedov dominated Cory Sandhagen. And I did kind of address this in the video, and people were like, dominated? What are you talking about, Joe? He didn't dominate him. What I meant by that, I understand he didn't outright destroy him for 5 rounds, but he shut Cory Sandhagen down. Cory had nothing to offer. Absolutely nothing to offer. Cory looked like he was playing a guessing game. And it's sad because Cory Sandhagen privilege is real, okay? Cory Sandhagen privilege is real. He went out there in a main event of a huge card against a guy who had no top 10 ranked wins. And he had an opportunity to beat this guy, this overhyped Dagestani guy, to beat him for a title shot. Think about the privilege that Cory Sandhagen came into this fight with. And he couldn't capitalize. You have the guy in Umar Nurmagomedov getting absolutely no privilege at all, coming into this fight and absolutely capitalizing. I mean, imagine being Umar. You go from fighting Hani Barcelos to number 2 in the world, Cory Sandhagen. That ain't a privilege at all. Now, I'm partially trolling here, but I'm partially serious. Not really about the Cory Sandhagen privilege. But, I talked about this in my other video. Listen, if you thought this wasn't a good fight, you're a bitch. Okay, you're a bitch. You're just biased against Nurmagomedov. This was a very good fight. We're going to go through it a little bit here more in detail in a second. If you thought this was a poor performance by Nurmagomedov, I don't know what to tell you. You're literally an idiot. You're literally an idiot. You're just biased. If you complain about the grappling from Umar, you've lost your mind. You didn't even watch the fight because there wasn't a whole lot of grappling. And if you think Umar isn't the real deal now, I have no words for that. There's words that I could use, probably get me demonetized. That's how angry I would be with that take. So this was a good fight. This was a masterclass by Umar. First round took his back almost immediately. Like first minute, got a takedown, scrambled, took his back, both hooks in. I'm like, oh shit, Umar's about to get a finish? Like it's a bit of an exaggeration, but I thought it was going to be a long night for Cory. Cory digs the hook, hooks out, defends. Umar's landing on the feet, gets a late takedown, clearly took the first, not clearly took the first round. First round was the only debatable round, but I thought Umar was landing good shots, jabs, kicks to the body, leg kicks. Cory was landing some, but I thought Umar took the first round. Second round, throughout, just similar thing. I mean, second, third, and fourth round, I'm not going to go through them in detail because I already did in the other video, but would be winning on the feet, late takedown, a little bit control, and Cory Sandhagen would just try to Granby roll. Every time Umar would get it in deep on a takedown, Cory just tries the Granby roll. The only round where Umar had some legit control time was the 5th round, where he was winning on the feet, got a takedown, there was a crazy scramble, and eventually Umar ended up in guard, did some damage from there, had like 2.5 minutes of control time. The rest of the rounds was just Umar beating him up on the feet. Cory had some moments where he was really chopping at the legs. That was the only weapon he could find. He looked lost on the feet. Cory looked lost on the feet. Umar had him playing a guessing game. Cory was worried about the shots. Cory was worried about the striking. Round 4, Umar beat the piss out of him on the feet, was landing good right hands, good body shots, good leg kicks. Umar was reacting well to, body kicks and leg kicks from Cory. Now, the leg kicks were chewing him up a little bit, but after the 3rd round, he didn't throw anymore because he was worried about Umar catching the kick and taking him down. I think at one point, Cory's corner told him, start shooting takedowns. Like after the 3rd round, like, what are you doing? You're down 3. I thought Umar won every single round. I thought it was an incredible performance. I thought it was a title shot earning performance. I thought it was a statement win. And I can't believe people are honestly saying, there was people jumping in my chat and was like, that wasn't even a good win. What universe are you living in? So the Dagestani privilege, the Dagestani privilege fallacy continues to go on in a guy beating a number 2 guy in the division, and he's next in line. According to Dana White, I know these promises are sometimes fake, but according to Dana White, he will fight the winner of Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili, which All I can say is, damn. And one thing I will say, and I broke this down as well in my other video, Umar's cardio looked incredible. Cory looked tired in the 4th and 5th. They were the most dominant rounds from Umar were the 4th and 5th. I mean, that was the one question mark. This is his first 5-round fight, at least in the UFC. And he passed it with flying colors. And he did it primarily with the striking, which I thought was super impressive. Like, Cory was not landing clean at all with any punches. Leg kicks were all he was landing. Even the body kicks, Umar was bringing up the knee to check the body kicks and block the body kicks. So, Umar looked incredible. Great win. If you care to hear about that more in detail, please go check out my full main event breakdown. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you're a new subscriber, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you. If you're an OG subscriber, thank you so much. We're about to hit 25K. Share the video, like the video, all that good stuff. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.